PUQPress started as a simple idea to make the job of baristas easier, but over the years it has changed how coffee shops organize their espresso workflow.
Okay, so in this video I will show you how PUQ builds their products right here in their factory. So follow me.
They have built over 100,000 machines, and PUQ Press has changed how baristas make coffee around the world. We met the team to explore all updates since our last visit 8 years ago. So you can expect a tour around the production area in the Netherlands, visiting Dutch barista champion who tested the latest gadgets from PUQ, and stories from the PUQ founder about developing new products and plans for the future. But as usual, we started with a cup of coffee.
Thank you so much.
We met the commercial team of PUQ, seeing their new machines in action, but soon we get into the roots of the company.
So this is really the first series that Lawrence still made in the barn of his parents. And after that it became quite successful within a couple of years, and then this version came up. So if you can see, quite a nice design. And this is also like the iconic shape of the PUQ press, as a lot of people already know. That's why we based all our models on this banana shape kind of feeling. This is a fun sign because last year we did 100,000 PUQ presses. We never expected this from the start, and so we made between 20 and 25,000 pieces each year.
How important was that milestone for the company and for the brand?
I think when Lawrence started, of course, it didn't exist. So it was a segment that was still open. This is August 2023, and Lawrence started in 2011. So that took a while. Now we can do it a bit quicker, I think.
Almar, who is a commercial director at PUQ for many years, gave us a tour around the production.
Of course, this is the most important part. This is the production side. Come on in. This is where the magic happens, right?
What has changed since the...
What has changed? Well,
it looks quite bigger.
You can probably see it, right? It stopped like just at in the middle, so it's like 2,000 square meters bigger than before. What we did, we also divided the divisions a bit more.
So there is a pre-production area, several lines for PUQ press assembly, and testing and packaging area.
So this is where the pre-assembly is done. So we have a lot of pre-assembly stuff, like this. If you can see here, this is what I mean by pre-assembly, right? So you need to do the cabling, the gluing of the back office before it goes to the assembly lines. Besides that, we also have the new Navigator, which has a totally new assembly line as well.
Then, the assembly of PUQ presses has two sections. One for standalone models and one for integrated models that fit underneath the grinder.
So what we put a small warehouse in each back of the production site, so you can work very fast and efficient. So you start with a frame, bottom plate, and then they build the PUQ press up piece by piece by piece, and they finish it by themselves as well. The only thing the guys are not doing by themselves is the end testing. And then after that we have the packaging room. First the packaging was also up front. Of course up front you can more look outside, and then Lawrence saw this somewhere in an office and he was like, oh, that's cool for the new production side, so it's natural light, so you feel a little bit less tired when you're here in the dark corner of the production side. And then we have some flexible space here as well, because the integrated models are growing like crazy. 40% already is integrated.
It's interesting to see how it grew from 8 years ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we expanded our portfolio as well, right? So yeah, you need eventually more space to make it work.
What we realized during the tour is that a big part of the production is done here in the factory.
When you need to adjust something or you hear something from the market which is really important, you can act really, really fast. So everything that we have feedback on, it's done within weeks instead of 5 to 6 months when you outsource stuff. Yeah, the division of Lawrence is still here, so it's still everything done in-house as long as we can. This is R&D, speaks for itself, but it's also the fun playground of Lawrence. So yeah, if you look here, you have a lot of stuff going on. So when we have any requests which are not standard, we can test it here. So that's really, really cool.
We'll get back to the R&D area with the founder and CEO later in this video, but let's continue the tour to learn more about the space.
Let's show you something about the big warehouse, because it's the biggest piece of the company, of course. And that's because Lawrence's mindset is not only that do everything in-house, but also quite conservative as it comes to stock. So we always have stock for 5 to 6 months in-house. When everything is tested and packed and so on, it's ending up here. So
this is ready for shipping.
Ready for shipping, as you can see.
Can also say, like, where does it go? Where does it go?
Oh man, everywhere. So this is Argentina, United States, India. We have 17 countries, 92 distributors already globally. And this is here mostly for maximum a week, maybe 2, it depends a bit on the forwarder.
Next, to better understand the evolution of PUQ Presses, we asked marketing manager Thomas to walk us through all production versions, starting with Gen 1.
This is where it all started. So this was the very first model where what Lawrence took underneath his arm towards cafes.
Then, PUQ Press continued developing until the recent Gen 5, updating the design to fit espresso bars and adding Q1 and Q2 models to the product line.
This is Gen 6, yeah, this is where everybody is now talking about and what we launched together with the Navigator, of course, but that's a different section. The Mini was also there in Gen 5, but we made it a bit stronger and we added some adjustment lines. The Q1 and the Q2 came together within the Q because we really want to keep it. That's the most original version we have and we will never get rid of it. So the Q is now there and it got its own podium. And we've added the Pro, a model where we again listen to baristas, their feedback, what they were using in the bar and what they were missing, especially the Australian market where people were buying 2 PUQ presses because they wanted a different temping pressure for milk beverage or black coffees. We've now made a button up here where you can swift easily between those things.
It was cool to see 6th generation of PUQ Presses, but the new exciting product called Navigator is a distribution tool. What does it mean for the brand?
And I think all of us thinking what is going to happen with PUQ Press, because if we bring something like this is not pressing, you know, this is doing something else. So what are we going to do with the brand itself? And then we came up with different categories, something we discussed for a while, but that made us shifting from PUQ Press towards PUQ. It still happens within the PUQ, so that we don't have to get rid of that part, but the press part needs to be separately. And that's why we made also PUQ Press and PUQ Prep, and those categories are underneath PUQ, and PUQ Prep will have the Navigator underneath as a product, because it's about the preparation of the PUQ. And in the future, things will happen, and there's room now to even go further than only PUQ Prep and PUQ Press. The new slogan is Master Your Craft, so that's what they're able to now.
To get a full picture, we made a quick trip from the factory to Rotterdam, where we met Dutch barista champion at his new cafe.
So why did you bring us here?
Well, we talked already about him, like he's one of our ambassadors, and he helped us launch the Navigator, but it's also one of the best espresso bars in Rotterdam.
Ripsnorter is one of the few places where they tested PUQPress Pro and PUQ Navigator with the inline kit behind the bar.
I think this is a perfect product to really implement it on the stage, but also in the daily life here. So. It makes it so much easy to implement it into the bar flow that it's going to be a no-brainer soon. I think we're going to see a lot of cafes having a Navigator next to the PUQ. Before we were doing the distribution only for the high-end top coffees because you're not doing a lot of them during the day. And then we would just have like the regular coffee as it is. But with this function, it makes it possible for that coffee as well to be perfectly distributed. So.
Now, as we saw machines in action at Ripsnorter, we got back to the factory to meet the founder and inventor Lawrence in the R&D area to get his insights into the development of PUQPress Pro and Navigator.
No, this is completely new. So what we have here, we have a milling machine, turning machine, saws, a lot of tools we can use to make prototypes, to adjust parts.
Okay.
And this is actually my area. So I'm the R&D guy within the company, and I like to spend time here. Technology is what I like, developing new stuff, and this is the place where I do all the stuff. Yeah.
Of course, we had to ask about the new product Lawrence developed, and that's Navigator. What was his motivation to create something new for his company?
People said, okay, you're a one-trick pony, you can only make coffee temping machines. And that challenged me because I'm not a one-trick pony. So actually coffee distribution started a few years ago with needle distribution. And I think 2 years ago I came with this idea, okay, to make it as an open structure. Not distributing after grinding, but while you're grinding. I think that's really beneficial in the whole coffee making process. It doesn't add any time. So that was my moment, okay, I thought, okay, this is really unique. And then I started developing. It's a small product, but it's much more complicated than the PUQ Press. Like I said, tight tolerances, a lot of technology in a small machine. There's a battery, there's a motor, there's a controller board, on-off switch, it's a touch screen, and all in a very small interface.
What was the most challenging to figure out, like during the process, like what are the...
Yeah, so there's a bearing inside. It's custom made by ourselves. You cannot buy off shelf. It's completely designed in-house. And it's all high tolerances, so very tight tolerances. That's the hardest part. So in this outer ring, there's a seal, there's another seal, there's a locking ring, and all have to fit in this small outer ring. So that's a challenging part of this Navigator. Yeah, so the normal cycle of the Navigator is clockwise and counterclockwise. And the needles, they are not fixed. They can pivot around this pivot point. So if you turn clockwise, the needles are declumping. And if you drive counterclockwise, the needles are distributing. That's because of the flat needles. Actually, the name Navigator started not with Navigator. The first idea was to make it like a compass. That's why we have some indicators here. And I'm a sailor, so I have some background with navigating. So I thought, okay, maybe a compass because it has an open shape, a ring shape. But the compass was not the right name for us. Then we changed to Navigator. The other part of the design is we have to protect the needles. So we need some legs to protect the needles. So we don't need any base to store the Navigator. The product on its own is complete, so you can use it, you can put it away.
Small details matter, so Lawrence assembled first 500 Navigators himself in the production, just to improve the process. Most likely, next time we'll visit, we'll be celebrating another 100,000 units made in the factory again. So that was PUQ. Let us know if you enjoyed the tour, and we'll see you in the next video.